of trying to figure out what else we're going to do, waking up the next morning to new data, trying to figure out what the safest thing is to do. And quite frankly, I think like everybody else in this room, myself included, if anybody didn't say they'd almost reached their stress level at some particular point, then you're probably not connected to what's going on. I was just sort of looking down at my calendar, and I think it was March 6th, the morning I woke up, to you better drive back to Midland now, and that's the way everybody's been. And now as we continue to see layoffs, as we see more layoffs coming, as we see more and more small businesses trying to navigate the new waters that are related to what the governor's doing and then what we have to do as a city, when you have small business owners in a panic because they've run out of hand sanitizer. And so now when their distributor can't get hand sanitizer to them for 3 weeks, are they now going to close their business? How are they going to do this? Are they a business of 3? Or they're a business of 4? Or it's a 4-generation restaurant. What are they going to do? And so we are all in, to say the word uncharted territory would be the greatest understatement I think any of us could ever imagine. And so we're all still adjusting. And as you heard just a minute ago, that even if we did 100% social distancing, at best, we're a month from killing what we're staring at, what we're dealing with. So we're going to have to take a little bit of time here to realize this is not going to be over this week. This is not going to be over next week. That we're still going to have to figure out how to hunker down for a battle that's going to take us an entire month. And so as I just sort of go through some things I had prepared for you, as a city council, we made even more adjustments this past Tuesday. We tried to give some consistency to what local retailers could do. We made sure we were in line with what the governor was telling us to do. But the fact of the matter is, all that does for us right now is have even more questions about whether or not someone's an essential business or not. Even more questions about how many people we can have in our store. Even more questions about how many people can stand outside. And I just simply wrote in my notes, every declaration and proclamation to promote and practice social distancing is a hardship. And every single one of them is not going to be accepted well. And every single one of them is going to create more decisions and more hardship. Every single one of them are going to be difficult. And come next Tuesday as a city council, when we see what other council members might want to do, I think we've gone about as far as we can go, along with the state, in infringing upon every civil liberty that we possibly can infringe upon. The reason I say that is because it still goes down to one simple thing, and you've heard it from every single person. If we as individuals do not take the personal responsibility to practice social distancing, it doesn't matter what the state does. It doesn't matter what the city does. Every single one of us have to finally settle down. If you haven't settled down in the last month, we have to settle down to a place where we say, I'm going to do the right thing, that I'm going to stay home and stay safe, that even if the city put up a piece of paper that said shelter in place, you're still going to have to do the right thing because you're not going to be able to stay in your house for more than a couple of days. Someone's still going to have to get out and get some groceries. Someone's still going to have to go see a doctor. Someone's still going to have to do certain things. And we are not going to become a police state and a police city. We're not going to have our police driving around the city trying to figure out who to ticket because they're 5 feet apart, not 6 feet apart. That's for you to do. That's for each and every one of us to understand that the high call we have right now in our lives is to support one another, to encourage one another, to understand that every single taxing entity here, every single person involved with the school district who is doing an amazing job with the resources they have, everybody is doing everything they can, but at some particular point, every point is moot unless you and I practice social distancing and we keep trying to figure out what the right thing is to do and we keep doing it together and we keep working towards a day when we can start getting back to a new normal, which is our unrestricted freedom that we enjoy so much. Bottom line is, as you're going to hear Mayor Turner say in Odessa and you're going to hear me say, it's very simple. Just stay home and stay safe. Just stay home and stay safe. It doesn't matter what else we say from this point on. You know the right thing to do. Everybody knows to wash their hands. Everybody knows to stay socially distant. And also everybody ought to know we're in this together. It is highly frustrating for all of us. So the only way we're going to get through this together without getting mad at each other all the time is to learn how to serve each other through this process. In exactly the same way the Permian Chinese Association has shown us to step up to the plate and serve one another regardless of what it takes and do what's necessary so we can get a month down this road and we can all look back and have a big poster one day that says, we overreacted. That would be the absolute best thing that we could possibly do. is to get to this place as a city where we say, we overreacted so bad, look at how good it was, and then we'll be ready for the next challenge that faces us. Any questions? Yes, Stuart?
The chamber, the city has been very proactive in talking to certain businesses about their best practices. Has there been any conversations with apartment complexes who, quite frankly, got rich off this community? Yesterday was rent day for a lot of people, and have there been any conversations about asking them to give people of Midland a break?
We have not had direct conversations. I know the city staff is working on what some of our options might be, and I think the chamber has been encouraging those apartment complexes to consider what they're going to help those people.
Thank you.
And that's, quite frankly, I had a conversation with someone yesterday who was asking me about a particular social distancing thing they didn't agree with, and I simply responded that I'd be happy to send them all the emails of people who are trying to figure out how they're going to make it right now. In fact, it's probably a 10 to 1 right now of how many people are trying to figure out, I can't pay rent, I don't know where to go, I've lost my job, and there's nowhere else in the country for me to go. And so it's a heavy burden on all of us in this city, and it's coming down even heavier every day.
Since the city moved on to that 10% capacity rule, have you noticed any significant difference between the way businesses operate now? Do you think it's made an improvement over in the city?
I think it's a little too early to tell. Quite frankly, I'm not sure that our business community was doing a bad job. The difficulty we had, and the reason we had such a debate about it on Tuesday, was we had no standard that we could go by, whether it was the governor's standard, New York's standard, our standard. So the reason I came to the 10% on Tuesday was talking to retailers saying, how can we make this fair across the board? Because quite frankly, when you allow 50 people into a Walmart, you end up with 400 outside, and everything we're trying to combat with social distancing goes down the toilet whenever people are wrapped around Walmart twice. And so we'll wait and see. The biggest test for us will always be what happens on the weekends around here. The greatest sacrifice we have to make here in Midland is usually not what's happening Monday through Friday. It's what happens Saturday morning when we act like it's a holiday weekend from the coronavirus. So really, next week, I'll be able to answer that question when we drive around and see how people are doing. But I would say, by and large, all of our retailers are doing the best they can. They're trying to protect their business. They're trying to protect their employees. I think about the people who are stocking grocery shelves at night, and everybody who's sacrificing so we can do the things that we need to do. I think everybody's doing as good as you would expect and making great sacrifices.